Hi everyone, I'm Pam. I've been thinking about my last video and I almost took it down. Not because it wasn't true, it was just there was so much raw pain in that video. Yeah, and if you haven't seen it, I'll link it. Um, it was just really obvious how much pain I was in, and here's the part that keeps coming back to me. I asked for help. I reached out. I needed help. And only one person answered, and thank you so much. You have no idea how much that helped me. Um, and if you're watching and you're confused about relationships and you're not quite sure what to do with the relationships that leaves you feeling anxious and confused, and it's like you don't know where to turn to and you keep questioning your own reality, you're in the right spot. In my case, this wasn't just a relationship problem. This was a 40-year narcissistic, I can't say that word, and it was toxic. And it hit me like a freight train. And this is someone I love deeply. And I did a lot of studying and a lot of learning. And and I'd like to share some things that I've learned with you. And it's about boundaries, how to set boundaries, and when boundaries aren't enough to keep going. I'm doing something awesome now. I'm out of pain. I'm resigned in my mind and my heart. Like I stopped trying to solve something that couldn't be fixed. And honestly, I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. So today I want to talk about boundaries, but not in a fluffy way that people sometimes talk about. I want to talk about boundaries and what they look like when you've been living with a toxic person all of your life. And when that behavior starts affecting you, it's emotional chaos that you're dealing with. And so I want to go back a bit on this short story, but it's 40 years long. And I started to notice patterns. At first it was subtle, like, well, it wasn't really subtle. It was the entitlement that was expected. I mean, expected. I was expected to leave my house to her. I was expected, and I'm like, what? Well, this is when I die. I was expected to give special treatment, although I never received special treatment in return. And I was expected to give special energy, although it was exhausting. I was exhausted after every visit. I would take her on trips paid for by me. And it was felt like I was never thanked. It was like the trip was owed. There's no thanks, no real thanks, just consumption. Anytime I brought up something, there was always a little dig in me. If I said something honest, there was always a slight twist, a little stab, a little undermining. And slowly I realized that I was being disrespected with my time, my money, my love. Not once in the way you could miscalculate it, but it was a style, it was a behavior that does something to you. It puts you on edge. It makes you start editing your thoughts. It creates anxiety because you're constantly trying to protect yourself and you're trying to predict what's going to happen next and you're trying to rewrite the next emotional hit. The final blow came for me a few months ago. I knew that she was coming to visit. She gave me a month's notice. The problem is, she came 3 days earlier. Huge surprise. Didn't know she was coming 3 days earlier. And the night before she came, I mean, I was exhausted. I had my cleaner over and she was helping me with my floors, which is a problem for me. And I begged her to also uh, shampoo the guest room carpeting because I knew that she was going to be coming in 3 days and I wouldn't be able to do it. So she did. She was here until midnight. She was here for 10 hours at my home helping me. And I was exhausted. And what she called me and I thought, well, my sister called me and I thought, she's good. She's going to cancel the trip. And I said, you're canceling? She said, no, I'm here. I'm at the airport. And I was not going to pick her up. I said, you have to give me an hour. I just woke up. And so she went, of course, to the bar. This is at 10 o'clock in the morning. She went to the bar at the airport and drank before she got here. And so she was here. I had to make a lot of revisions, as I normally do during the visit with her. And she was here extra long with her husband. And everything revolved, of course, around her and what she wanted. And when she was ready to leave, she said to me, she knew I was updating my house and refreshing my house. She said, you have a very beautiful house. She said, but I'm cleaner than you are. And that hit me so hard. That's all I needed. That's all I needed. And I was so glad she left, but it left me with a lot of rethinking about what I was supposed to do. And frankly, it was the last straw. After that, I did what I needed to do to survive emotionally. I did a lot of reading and research. I listened to Dr. Ramani. In fact, I bought her book and I studied that and I wrote a lot. I wrote about the long history, what's going on. But what I want to talk to you about today is the red flags. You probably don't even need them if you're dealing with this issue. You probably know all the red flags. Uh, but in case you don't, I'll just go through them quickly. You'll see a pattern of this: cruelty, manipulation, disrespect, gaslighting, entitlement. And then the real question becomes, do you set a boundary? What happens when you set a boundary? Boundaries aren't magical at all. They aren't they aren't about getting someone to treat you right. They're about protecting access to you to hold off on the chaos. A boundary is your rule for what you will not tolerate. And I have a list of a few boundaries, and I'm just going to go through them quickly. Step one, name what it is. Name what that boundary is. It's not okay to be spoken to like that. And step two is state your limit. How long are you going to put up with this person disrespecting this boundary? And number three is to enforce this immediately. Do not delay. State it up front what this boundary is. And four, watch to see if there's any change or if there's any repair of the boundaries that you have set up. And step five, escalate the consequence. Reduce the contact with this person. End the conversation sooner. Stop meeting the demands. Just walk away. I want to say something very carefully here, and I don't want to scare anyone. I chose no contact. It was painful, but I don't want you to believe that that's the only option for you. Some people do respond to boundaries, but I think in cases where someone feels entitled and they're cruel and they're manipulative and they're consistently unaccountable, Sometimes the only thing that will change is what you're willing to tolerate. And that was my truth. It was a painful thing to go through. This is my sister. And letting go is hard, but it's also powerful. I stopped living in confusion. Things became clear, and I know I'll never have to tolerate that again. If you're in that dark place right now where I was in my last video, here's what I want you to remember. You're not crazy. You're not broken. Right now, you're probably just gathering information. The anxiety that you're feeling can be a warning signal. Your body's telling you something's not safe for your mind. And I'm proof that this doesn't have to go on forever. If this video helped, please subscribe, because a lot of you watching aren't even subscribed to my channel. And I don't want the people who need to follow up on this to miss it. If you want, comment one red flag you're seeing, just one, and I'll reply with a boundary that I think that you could apply to that situation. You don't have to carry this alone. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.